I'm Steve Bertrand on Chicago's very own 720 WGN.
Steve, thanks so much. Bill and Wendy Snyder with you on WGN. Along with our friend, Mike, I hope it's okay to call you our friend, Mike McNamara, Executive Director
I'm
of the
going to call
Midwest.
him our monthly friend.
He's our monthly friend. We're getting a visit from our monthly friend, Mike McNamara.
It's a pleasure to be here.
We only see you on the first Tuesday of every month.
Yeah.
We're in sync, baby.
I'm here before you guys are. Just 6 a.m. knocking on the door.
Yeah,
Hi, guys.
absolutely.
Happy first Tuesday.
Mike comes by the first Tuesday of every month because of the Midwest Independent Film Festival, which is just such a good idea and has been nothing but successful. For people listening for the first time, Mike, please explain exactly what it is.
Well, it's a very unique festival in two ways. One, we only show films that are made in Chicago, in Illinois, in the Midwest. And we're the only film festival in the country where, in order to even be eligible for our fest, it's got to be made here. The other thing that makes us very unique is that we're a year-round festival. So instead of it being 5, 6, 10 straight days, we actually spread those days out over the course of the whole year. So it's all year round, every first Tuesday, so we can create a hub, a place for the entire film community to come together and for film lovers to come together and see films that they're not going to see anywhere else.
And this month's film features the beautiful Quincy, Illinois, which I didn't even know where it was.
I didn't either. I figured it was a suburb, like in the south, like a south suburb,
It's a
probably by the racetrack
far-removed
or something.
suburb, a
And then
very far-removed
I broke
suburb.
out the Google Maps and was like, oh, they're going to have to drive a while to get to this for this world premiere. So.
Yep.
And it's the world premiere of Full Frame, and the director of the film, Chris Kelley, is here. Chris, you explained to me where Quincy was.
Yes, it is. It is on the beer belly of Illinois. The belly button beer belly of Illinois. That's what. Hi, Bill. Hi. Hello. I can see you.
Nice
now.
to see you.
We have new screens in this studio, and it's like we're hiding behind them.
I put a screen up between us because I was going to do confession with you at some point.
Oh,
so
we
I
can
didn't want you
totally
to
do
see
that
me
right now.
during confession.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say that you two look fantastic?
Oh, well, thank you.
It's so nice to meet you.
It's kind of
I've trained Chris well.
Right.
Yeah.
I said, Chris, you better tell them
Say
they look
nice
good.
things and bring them a Tootsie Roll, and they will love you.
Oh,
That's
man,
all you
I don't
need
have
to
a
do.
Tootsie Roll.
That's
Mike.
all right. You're
All right,
fine.
I know. I forgot that.
And you've brought with you one of the actors from the film Full Frame.
Yes. Say hello, Charles.
Well, hello.
Charles Whitcomb.
He's the bad
everybody.
guy. Charles is the bad guy.
He is. He plays Charles De Beer. Tell me about De Beer.
Well, he's kind of modeled on the actor Josh Eklund, who, as you all know, said the famous words diplomatic immunity in Lethal Weapon 2.
One of the screen's great bad guys. Charles, you have the quintessential Quincy accent. I've been to Quincy. Everybody talks like Charles when you're down that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do.
Where are you from originally, Charles?
I'm from South Africa, and I've tried for the last 15 years not to sound like an American.
It's working. It's working beautifully. Why that switch? Why did you go from where you were to where you are now? What happened?
Well, she's sitting right over there.
You
woman.
met somebody. Good for you.
That's right. The
Met
wife's
a
here
beautiful
today.
lady, and that worked out beautifully.
That's why I left South Africa as well. This beautiful and talented lady right here.
Yeah. Wow. Good for
The
you.
other one. Yeah, not this.
Right. The other one. Yeah.
Being a big Hitchcock fan, I'm going to love Full Frame, aren't I?
You are going to love it. It is a thrilling adventure from start to finish.
And all those Hitchcockian notes are all in it. And I'm picky. I think noir is one of those genres that's extremely difficult to pull off. So I was extremely, we're very picky, as we're watching this film, we're like, oh God, these guys are tackling noir on a micro budget. And it cooks. It picks up, and it just drives it home. It's such a great thriller. And I mean, this is the world premiere. Guys, this is your first chance to see this film on the big screen on the planet. So we're pretty excited
Let's
about
go a little bit through what the story of Full Frame is. Explain to people what they'll be seeing.
Well, it is the suspenseful tale of a photographer who gets swept up in a game of life or death when he stumbles upon the dark deeds of a notorious big shot.
And that would be me.
That was I had $50 down on it, actually, Charles, that it was going to be you. How could it not be you?
Yes, and it is the most wonderful film of the entire year. I mean, I might just be saying that because I made it, and I might be biased, but
You directed it. Did you also write it?
I did. I don't like to say that I write it, but
Why not, Christopher? Why won't you admit to that?
Well, because I've already got too many credits as it is.
Oh, all right.
I can only be so wonderful. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
It is a lot of times, though. It is, I don't want to say red flag, but it can be a challenge if you wrote it and you shot it and you directed it.
Sure.
You can think, well, you're kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
And not getting another eye
Right.
to make.
And so a lot of times it's kind of sink or swim, so that it can be a really amazing success or not. And in this case, I think, and that's a part of the reason why you guys were able to shoot this on a 4 or 5 figure budget, which is inspiring, is because when the director is also the guy shooting it, and the guy that wrote it, you can really be efficient. You can really make things happen with a film.
Where did the money come from? Once you write a movie like this, you say, I got to do more than just have it on the page. I want it to be on the screen. How'd you raise the money?
Well, my beautiful and talented wife, Victoria, allowed me to self-finance it, so we took half the budget down, and we had some generous friends and loved ones who wanted to see this movie made, and they helped us out with some money and some props and some locations, and so we just, whatever we could do to get this thing going, we did it. And luckily we had friends like Charles who said that they would appear in it and be masterful in their craft as actors.
Well, we were never actors before, but apparently we are now.
Had you not acted prior to this?
No.
You hadn't.
That is, guys, you have to see Charles in this film. I'll be honest, when I watched this film, and I was with a couple other people, I immediately went on IMDb because I was like, all right,
He's
Charles.
done
I was
stuff.
like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
I really thought, okay, they took some New York cast and crew and just dropped him in Quincy, Illinois, and just shot it because Quincy said, okay, you can have the town and do whatever you want. And I looked on IMDb for all these guys, Charles, Frankie, who's the lead, Jeff Baird, who's also great in this film, and they had 1 credit on their IMDb. And it was full
This
frame.
film.
And I just was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Wow.
Where do you find these actors?
Well, prison mostly, but we put out casting calls, and I think the more that our community kind of sees what we're doing as a small group of filmmakers, they want to be involved. And so whether or not we have to bribe them, or whether or not they just jump in and say, please make me a part of your movie, we bring them in. We just open arms, we take them in, and we say, this is what I want you to do, and we work through it together as a family, because we have a little filmmaking family, and we just make it happen. And I am constantly stunned by the level of talent that we have in our community. You wouldn't expect it, but they bring it, and it's amazing.
And what you underestimate is Chris's ability to bring the best out in people.
Oh, that's such a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I'm passing Charles.
fantastic.
It's a nice thing to say, yet still intimidating when Charles says it.
Somehow it is, isn't it? We'll talk more with Mike McNamara of the Midwest Independent Film Festival. Also, Chris Kelley is with us. Christopher Kelley is the director and writer, even though he doesn't like to cop to it, of the new film Full Frame. One of the actors, Charles Whitcomb, also in studio. It's Bill and Wendy on WGN.
It's a Midsummer Night's Game on WGN TV. Watch the Cubs as they set sail for Pittsburgh to battle the Pirates. Arrgh. Tonight at 6 on WGN TV.
Mike McNamara has joined us from the Midwest Independent Film Festival, along with Christopher Kelley, the director and writer of Full Frame, and Charles Whitcomb, one of the actors from Full Frame. They hail from Quincy, the town named after the Jack Klugman hit TV show from the 1990s. So this was done for under $10,000. Is that possible?
$10,000. No, but we made it possible.
It's not possible. That can't be done.
It's literally impossible. I mean, if you would have told me before I watched it that it was made for $8,000-$9,000, I would have just said, you know what, let's just, I'll watch it for a couple minutes. I mean,
Sure.
I've never, truly, it's an inspiring achievement, because I really thought it had a 6-figure budget, at least, in watching it, and then to see what they were able to make happen with Full Frame, I was blown away personally.
Good for you.
Chris, have you done a film before this?
Yes, this is our 3rd feature film. We did one back in 2008 called Hampshire Ghost Story that was released on IndieFlix and video-on-demand platforms in the West Coast. And recently we did Villainy for the Lonely, which came out in 2013. And as we keep using these small budgets to make our movies, we just kind of are trying very hard to make it work for under $10,000. It's nearly, as you said, nearly impossible, but we're making it happen
Beautiful.
somehow.
You seem too young to have a full grasp and appreciation of film noir, and yet that was the direction you headed in. How come?
Well, I'm 64 years old.
You are 64. You
No,
look great.
I'm 37, and I went through this period of just trying to tackle the classic films. You know, it was important to me to know where film came from and to watch the masters at work. And I don't try to say that I'm making a film like them, because that's impossible. That's the real impossible task, is to say I'm making a Hitchcock film, but I don't do that because that's not me. But what we did was take those classic elements and try to make them work with a modern twist. You know, and I don't know, Charles, what do you think? Do you think we did it? Think we pulled it off?
Well, I think you started out with a sort of a story that makes people wonder what's happening next, and then without giving anything away, you lead up into a really tense scene, which is very pleasing, I think.
Oh, nice.
Now, Charles, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue this acting career that you have now?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Are you kidding? Why not?
I have a business partner. We run a business in Quincy, and I don't really see anyone approaching me to act.
You look
You're
and
out of
sound
your
like
mind.
every
You will
bad
get
guy
lots of
I've ever
people.
seen in anything. You could make $1 million doing this.
Well, I have no illusions, but if somebody does come along, well, let's see what happens.
Or you can work for
I'll
free.
pay you $1 million to read the phone book right now, Charles. All right,
Well, Charles, when I saw you, I said to myself, I hope James Bond isn't here, because there's going to be a fracas between the two of you.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. That's the highest compliment you can pay
I love
another
it.
human being, I think.
Charles actually has a gun under the table right now.
Actually, yeah, two of them, I think.
That's fine. That's fine. What was the biggest challenge? I mean, when you put this on paper, you kind of go through the schedule of what's going to be next and next and next, but there's always surprises. What was the biggest challenge or surprise for you?
Oh, the biggest heartbreaking challenge was we had 4 actors that lost a parent during the production of this movie.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was one of the biggest challenges. It was just trying to, you know, grieve and bring, you know, peace and love into their lives, and then continue this movie. You know, I think we were all determined to make it work, and despite the challenges and these things that happened, we pulled together as a filmmaking family and put all the scenes down on digital capture.
Good. Very, very good.
And, you know, with this, I think the key, and for anyone that's tuning in now that says, "Man, I can." You know, this should inspire you to say, "Well, I can make a film. I can make a feature." Because I think too many people think, "Well, I've got to raise $10 million, or I've got to raise $5 million, or I've got to," you know, you can make a film these days. You know, they shot it on they shot everything on Canon. Canon has a line of cameras that's, you know, very affordable and multi-purpose. And, you know, the key is the script is the thing.
Sure.
This has a really, really, really strong script, and then you get a talented team around you, but the script is the foundation. You know, if you have a great script, you can shoot it on any budget.
And you just gotta not give up. I mean, like, there were times where it was just easier to just toss in the towel and say, this isn't gonna work. But
No.
how do you make it work? And let's figure out how to do it.
Right.
And get it going.
And using Alfred Hitchcock is sort of not a template, but as a goal almost. There's so many filmmakers. Brian De Palma is the first one that comes to mind, who kind of get the flavor of Hitchcock. And just in watching, I've not seen the film yet, but I've seen the trailer. You get that right away. That's
thank
the
you.
essence of what you're going for.
Thank
so
you.
you've accomplished that.
Boy, that's a good compliment.
It is.
My head's getting bigger.
The headphones no longer fit on
I
your
can't
head.
hear what you're saying anymore. I lost my head.
And again, tonight, I mean, a world premiere is just, it's such an amazing celebration to have the world premiere. It's the first chance to see it on the big screen anywhere in the country, anywhere on the planet. We have limited tickets remaining. Head to MidwestFilm.com. You can run to our Facebook for the Midwest Independent Film Festival. Give us a like, share it. You can watch the trailer on there, and you can find tickets through Facebook
And
as
Mike,
well.
you were kind enough. This is a special offer just for our listeners. The first 20 people who get tickets, Charles will stare at them.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
So what's better than that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to buy tickets now.
I wanna
If
get
that
extra
means
tickets.
Charles will
Chris,
stare
what's
at
next
me.
for you?
We have 4 movies we're kind of developing right now, and trying to figure out which one's going to be next. In different genres. One that I'm particularly happy about is a Hallmark-style Christmas movie that I was going to make because I promised my mom that I would make something for her that she could actually watch and sit through without cringing and saying, "Oh, Chris, why?" Why?
All right. Well, Charles is out for that one. What else
Yeah,
you got?
sure.
He's going to play the kindly old fisherman store surveyor.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you probably want to do something that's as different from this, just for your own peace of mind, to say, look, I've got a pretty good range, right?
Yeah, I'd love to. My wife and Dawn back here, they're actually developing a female comedy, not a chick flick, but a female comedy that I'm kind of excited about. I hope they get to writing it soon. And we're developing another film that's a, sort of a heist movie, and then another spooky movie that we'd love to put on to into the
If
world.
you need any actors, Bill and I are available.
Oh, great. Great, yeah. You have an agent? We just go through Mac here?
Kincaid. Go through Ruben Kincaid. That's our agent.
And work for Cheeseburgers.
Yep. Oh, awesome, yeah.
I've talked with them. They work for Cheeseburger. Actually, Bill will work for Cashew Chicken. That's another story.
We went in.
Fantastic.
You can actually find these guys at Table 16, table16.com.
.com, yes. You can take a look at our work.
Yeah, take a look at your work, reach out to Chris, and you can find us at midwestfilm.com. We hope to see you guys tonight.
This is very exciting. Again, Chris Kelley's movie Full Frame will be showing tonight at the Midwest Independent Film Festival. Charles Whitcomb, one of the stars. Midwestfilm.com is the best way to get all the information.
That's it. You got it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
World premiere.
Let's do it.
More after this. It's us. It's Bill and Wendy on WGN.